Hey everyone, today we're going to add a service desk to our small business planner here. So we have built a CRM, recruiting app, project management, finance, and so on. And today we're going to add the service desk. It's basically a way for you to manage all the requests from your employees, suppliers, partners, and so on. So it's more for internal use. And we were going to do this in a way that you can collect the request, manage the request, approve the request, and have the data. So have dashboards and so on. I don't know if we'll have time to do everything today here, but that's basically what we're going to build in this internal request structure. And you can do this in many different ways. Um, However, today we are going to focus on how to do this as a logged user, because you could also have a public link where you can share with among all your employees. So maybe you have 1,000 employees and only 100 of them have access to the platform. And then you can have like a public link for those 900 employees that don't have an account on Jestor or a user at Jestor. But today we are going to assume that it's a small company, so all employees will have access to Jestor. So if you have like 30 employees, all the 30 employees would have access to Jestor, and they would be able to just create these requests directly through the platform. This way better than public links because then you have more data about the person and for permissioning reasons and so on. So that's one way to also ensure that you have the person that has the permission to create internal support or even to automatically approve or not approve depending on the user or know when or how it was created and make sure that that person was the one that submitted the request instead of a public link where you can say like I can say my name is John, and I say like John is asking for I don't know for a raise, and then it was not John that created the internal request. It was Frank or something. But if you have your user, then there's no way to do this unless you give your password to someone or someone goes to your computer and so on. So it's a way safer way. It's way better for your workflows to use users instead of public links. So, Cruz, where should we start? Should we start with the table as usual, or do you want to start somewhere else?
Yeah, I think we should start with the table. And the thing about this process is that it's at its core, it's a very simple process because when I talk about simplicity, I'm talking about structure. And in this case, we're only going to have one table, so we can spend a little bit of time making sure that it has all of the fields that it will need. We can do automations. We can spend some more time on the app itself. The thing that I want to mention before we start building it is that one thing that we're not going to cover here is that you would probably use this template in along with permissioning, right? Because one thing that you can do with permissioning is set up so that one of your users they are allowed to create requests, but they are not able to edit the request later. They cannot move the card. They cannot change what they requested after they submitted the request. Maybe you only want people to see their own requests, for example, so that when someone accesses the process, they are only going to see their own cards, right? So you can do all of this with permissioning. And there are other ways in which you can filter the data in the interface. And we recommend that you do that as well. That's an extra layer of filtering that you're doing. But the correct way to do this is through permissioning. This is not a live stream dedicated for permissioning, so that's why we're not going to cover this today. but we have live streams on permissioning, so we have documentation on permissioning. And if you need any help with it, you can always ask our support team. We can help you setting this up. So this is one important detail to mention, because sometimes we do these live streams and people don't know that you have advanced permissioning Jestor. So they're like, oh, but I don't want this Kanban board because everyone can create cards, everyone can change the cards, they can drag the cards, they can approve. And that's not true. You can actually set up permissioning and access levels. So not everyone can do everything. Maybe you only want people to create cards, they cannot change them later, and they can only see their own cards, and you can set this up in the platform as well. But today we're going to focus on structure, right? So if we think about the structure, like I said, this is a very simple process when it comes to the database, because you only have one database. What we're going to have is a table for the requests, for the tickets. So what we're doing here is basically like a service desk, a help desk, is a place in which people can submit requests, and they can see if their request was approved, if it wasn't approved, in which stage it is, if there were updates, and so on. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's start with the structure. And like I said, this is a very quick to create structure because we're only going to have one database, right? So I'm going to call this requests. It could be internal tickets as well, but I'm going to leave this as requests, SMB. Oops, there you go. So every time we create a table in Jestor, it's always created with this default field of title, right? In this case, it's pretty apparent what goes here. It's the title of the request itself. So it's a short description of what the person wants, right? So we're going to add a new text, new field here called description. So a if the title is a short description, it's just a summary of what the person is requesting. The description is the full description, the full text of what they want. For example, if they're requesting access to what software they're requesting access, if they're asking to hire an employee, they're going to send the data, and so on. So we have the title, we have the description, and we're going to have the category, right? So this is a place where you can be really, really, really precise with what you want to do here. You can be very specific as well. Some companies like to have broader categories. So, for example, if you're submitting a reimbursement request, if you're submitting something to be paid, if you're submitting information about an invoice, it's going to be like a finance request. So you kind of have like the sector, the area of the company here. Some companies like to be more precise. They like to have more categories. Like for example, you can have one for requesting access, you can have one for reimbursements, you can have one for other specific things, right? So in this case, I'm going to start with broader categories, and we may change this later, but it's just so we can move on with creating the structure, right? So let's start with finance. Then
One
we're
thing
going to,
that I would do here is I would not let the user select a category or a team or something, and then let the AI choose it, given the request.
yeah, sure. That's one thing that we can do as well. Yeah, perfectly. What we're going to do here is just create the categories, and we're going to liken them to the areas of the company. Like I said, you could add more granularity to it. You could be more specific. So you could do like software access, you could do reimbursement. So you can have more specific things. Right now, we're going to go with finance, human resources, legal. Let's see other areas. Let's just change the colors here as well. and tech. There you go. And that's all we're going to do for now. There you go. So these are the categories. We can change this later, right? Okay, so we have a title, we have a description, we have the categories. And one thing that we can do here as well is, for example, have, let's see, the stages. So we have new requests, we have in progress, done, and rejected. And we can have archived as well, because sometimes you start working on a request and then you have to abandon it for some reason. It was not exactly rejected. So you may want to have a stage for archive, right? So we have new, we have in progress, we have done, we have rejected, and we have archived. See, there you go. And in this case, I'm going to activate the SLA metrics, which basically are going to monitor how much time a request spent on a certain stage, right? So one other thing we might want here is a field for attachments. So maybe there are relevant files that people have to send, right? So we can actually look at all the fields here and see things that are relevant to us, right? So there are a lot of different fields here. In some cases, you might want to have, for example, standardized to-do lists. Yeah, I'm not going to do this in this case, but I'm going to add a to-do list later. We can have owners, for example. So the people who are going to solve this ticket, and there you go. Cool. There you go. And I'm going to add a to-do list. And also, because I am going to um, see this also as a Kanban board, I'm going to add some fields that mirror the information from tasks, the chat, and I'm also going to add time in a status, so I can see how much time that request is in a certain stage, right? So I'm going to call this time in stage. So there are two ways in which we can move forward. I'm going to do what Bruno recommended first because it's simpler, in which I'm going to automatically categorize by finance, human resources, legal, and tech with AI. So that's one way to do it. And one other thing that I want to do is that sometimes you want people to be able to select a category, and then you also want subcategories. So, for example, in finance, we may have reimbursements or pay something. In tech, we have software access or anything like that. And you might want to have different SLAs for each one of those, right? So that's one cool thing that you can do as well. So I'm going to do that later. But for now, I'm going to assume this. There you go. I'm going to assume that these tickets are all we need, right? So I'm just going to fill out some information here, just so we have something when we start building the Kanban board. There you go. So finance, human resources, legal, and stage in progress, done. And I'm going to have some owners here. There you go. Cool. So we have some information here. Okay. So let's start with the forms because they're not going to change much after we do this. So I always like to remind people that when we talk about forms in Jestor, what we're talking about is actually not just public forms. When we say forms, that's what usually people have in mind. So they think about Google Forms, they think about type form, and we have that tool as well. We have public forms, but we also call forms any window or panel in which you're going to create new records, create new cards, or update cards. So when I try to create a new request here, this is a form. And when I open one of the existing requests, this is also a form, right? So that's what we're going to be customizing today. So I'm going to click here on forms, and I'm going to edit the creation form, which is this one, when I try to create a new ticket. And actually, uh, scratch that. We're going to add a new blank app. We're going to create a form for this, a standalone form, right? So I'm going to call this requests form SMB. We're going to add an icon to it. So this one, for example. And we're going to add a form here. There you go. So you can see that it's already like attached to the request database, the one that I've just created. If it wasn't, all I have to do was click here and select the correct table, but it's already on the correct one. So this is the form that people are going to use to submit their requests, right? And the reason I'm doing this separately is because I want a dedicated page so people can just see the entire form on the page, right? And we're going to be able to
One thing
use
that we
these.
could do is a dashboard for the person that's submitting, and we can have a creation form, and then maybe my requests on a table, and then filter it for the logged user, because here we are going to always use Gesture users instead of public users.
Yeah, cool. We can do that. So let's just customize this form. So this form is going to be called just request creation form. So this is an internal name, right? It's not going to appear anywhere on the interface, but it's going to be used to reference this form in other places, right? So I'm going to create, I'm now just going to customize the form. So this is going to be a form, request form. I can add a description. So use this form to submit a new internal request. And I could add a cover and a logo. So just to show you guys what this looks like, I'm going to get some stock image here. So just let's see here. There you go. So in this case, in which you have like an internal form for your company, some companies like to add images and logos, especially logos, because that's kind of like an internal marketing, right? For your employees, so they can see, they always see the logo of the company. I'm just going to add a cover here, and you can see that it's going to show, it's going to reflect here immediately. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to select a different image later, but it's just to show you how it looks like. So now we have to select all of the fields, all of the information that people have to submit. And okay, title, description. We're not going to do categories yet. I'm going to remove this because I'm going to do what Bruno suggested and actually make it so the AI auto categorizes this. Uh, Tasks, chat, and time and stage doesn't make sense to be here. Owners, not as well, and the to-do list also doesn't make sense to be here. So when people create requests, all I'm going to ask of them is a title, a description, and maybe optionally they can send attachments if necessary, right? And you can see that if I click here on this pen icon, that's the edit icon, I can make the fields required, so now they're mandatory, right? And stages, when people submit the request, I want for that request to go to the first stage of the Kanban board. So we're going to leave this here, and we're going to click on this pen icon, and we're going to give this field a predefined value of new. So this means that whenever someone opens this form, the stages field is going to be predefined. It's going to have a predefined value of new. But if I just leave it like this, people are going to be able to change the stage, right? And I don't want that. So I'm going to come here and click on hide this field. So now it's still in this form. It still has the stage equals to new, but people are not going to be able to change this to the interface, right? So I'm going to disable the form responses. I could leave it if I wanted to. In this process, it kind of makes sense to leave it on. What this feature does is basically whenever someone submits a response, they get an email with the information of their that they sent. They would get the title, the description, the attachments, and so on. Because this is a task, I'm just going to toggle this off. But maybe in your process, it makes sense to leave it on.
And also, like, we are going to show your requests, so you don't need to also have the answers on your or all your requests on your email as well.
Exactly. So let's change the background color. It's already white. Maybe I want to give it a different button color. So let's search for a color here. I don't remember the colors that I've already used. I'm going to go with this request. Maybe I'm going to go with this one, and then later I can change it. And I can change this color as well. There you go. And a smaller title. So there you go. This is what the form looks like, right? I could also make it larger. Here, can make it wide, for example. So there's more space here. And one thing that's cool is that because this description field is a rich text format, I can open it and see this as kind of an editor, right? Cool. So let's test this. Let's see. I want X. Let's see, analytics access. We have to give read only access to let's say Charles, and I can submit this. And if I go back to the table, there you go. This is uh, the request, and it's on the new stage, right? So it's working exactly as we intended. But you can see that there's no category here. So what we're going to do is what Bruno suggested. We're going to add an automation here so we can have an AI read the description and auto categorize for us. So I'm going to call this auto categorize request, and the description is reads description and selects the category. Oops, category automatically. There you go. So the trigger is when a new record is created, right? So basically, whenever a new request arrives here, I want to run this automation here on request. There you go. And when I do this, I can search for auto categorize. This is a specific automation that we have here. And auto categorize record or card by a single option field. This is a single option field, right? So that's what we want. So we select the language, auto categorize on this tab, the record itself that was created. The text to analyze is the description, and the category, the field that's being used for the category is this one category. So I'm just going to select this one. There you go. Cool. So one other thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to we've already created the form, right? So I could use this, but I can also come here to the table and say that the standard creation form is one that that I've already created on a separate app, right? So I'm going to go to the request form SMB page and get the request creation form. There you go. And I can also do like a right side panel if I want to. So as you can see, now I just click here and this is the form, right? It's pulling all of the settings from this form, so I don't have to do it more than one time, right? It's already here. So let's try it and let's do the same thing. So I'm just going to copy and paste here. There you go. So I'm going to create this. There you go. It went to new. The automation is running on background, right? One thing you have to remember about no-code automations in Jestor is that they run in parallel. They run on the background. So it's probably already done, right? It's just my browser, my interface that hasn't updated yet. But as you can see here, it already uh, change the category. So it read the description. We have to give read-only access to Charles and knew that this is a tag request. We can do one more test. So I can call this reimbursement. And I'm going to go with, I need a reimbursement for the gas spent on travel to X conference. There we go. So I've created these requests and the automation is going to run. And this is a finance one. It could be human resources depending on your policies, and you can set this up better. But I'm going to leave it as is. Also, actually, I'm going to do one more. Just hire intern. So send all the necessary docs for hiring intern. And of course, you would give more information. You give information about the intern and so on. So this is just an example. So I'm going to submit this. It's going to run. And there you go. This one here is human resources. So it's auto categorizing. So that's basically all we wanted, right? One other thing that I want to do here is that I can actually, every record, every card in Jestor has an internal ID. And this is one case in which is it might be good to have the ID easy to see because then people are going to talk. Oh, are you seeing ticket like 4, ticket 5, ticket 27? So we can just search for ID here, and I have this record database ID field here. So
Just as
uh,
a suggestion for anyone that wants to implement this as well, it's possible to assign a specific owner given the request type. So if you want to all the finance request goes to Richard, then all of them are going to go to Richard and so on. Just as an example, we were not going to do this today, but it's possible.
exactly. Actually, that was one of the things that I was going to do afterwards
So
if
okay.
we have the time. But I think we're going to have the time. So there you go. You have the request, you have the title, you have the description, you have an ID. So that's a unique identifier. So people can just say, "Oh, are you working on ticket 6?" and so on. So you have this one. This is non-repeatable. This is unique and unchangeable as well. So that's useful for that. So there you go. And what we're going to do now is we have the structure. We just have to set up the update form. The update form is for when we open the record, right? So we can select the tools. I want SLA, tasks, and chat. I want to see this as a double window, and then I just have to customize the form itself. So I'm going to use the title of the ticket here as the title of the card. I'm also going to just, for example, I'm going to change some stuff here. So category is going to be, there are different ways to see. So you can see here that the standard way is a drop-down list, but I'm going to change this to a standard horizontal just to show you guys how it what it looks like. Stages are going to be seen as a button-like, so it gives kind of like this nice sense of progression to the stages. I'm going to make so the ticket ID, the identifier, is right next on the same line as the title. I have the owners, I have the attachments, so okay. I'm just going to rearrange the orders here. I'm going to have the to-do lists here, and tasks, chat, and time stage are not necessary. And one thing that I can do now that this ticket is already created is that maybe I don't want to change for people to change the title of the ticket. I don't want people to change the description of the ticket. So one thing that I can do is come here to title and make this read only. I can go to description and make this read only as well. The category is read only, and basically I'm going to move these. So the attachment, I'm going to leave it as is. And I'm just going to disable the form responses and change the colors. So background color. There you go. And I'm just going to add a section as well to group the original information. So the request info, the original request data, for example. And I'm going to do this. There you go. So let's see how it looks like. So when I open a card, here's how it looks like. So you can see that I cannot change the title, I cannot change the description, because you shouldn't be changing the description, the title of a request once it's submitted, right? I can't change the category because I made this read only, but I'm going to disable this later. I was supposed to leave this not read only because maybe you want to relay this to other people, right? So maybe this was categorized to a certain area, but it was supposed to go to other areas. So you should be able to do this. I'm going to disable the read-only part. But then you have the owners, and then you have the to-do list, and so on. You have the tools here, the SLA, and so on, right? There are actually two things that I want to do here. I'm going to click on fields, no, actually forms. I'm going to go to update forms. I'm going to disable the read-only on category because I want people to relay this. And I'm going to give access. Oops, sorry. Category. There you go. Save. I'm going to add a new, another tool here, which is record history, because I want to activate a new tool here, which is basically sending updates to chat. So this is important because this keeps a log of information, right? So for example, on this record history, you can see that we already have the log of changes. So for example, if I change here to legal, it's going to update in a minute here. So in a while, it's going to change this. But maybe I don't want to see through this interface. I want this to be here on the chat as well. So I can activate this one. So send updates to chat. So now I can change this back to human resources, save, and it's going to update here. I'm just going to refresh my screen. There you go. And you can see that I'm tracking on the chat all changes to this ticket. So I can just go like, I'm working on this one. And then afterwards, I can change to in progress. And this is also going to update here, as you can see. There you go. Cool. So now to the interfaces, we already have the form view. What we're going to do here is add a blank app that's going to be our Kanban board. So there you go. We're going to add a Kanban board, requests, SMB. Cool. We're going to just change the icon color here. So requests, let's see, it could be this one. You can change this later. There you go. I'm going to add a Kanban board. And it's already pulling from the requests SMB table, right? If it weren't, I could just select the correct table here, right? But that's the information that I need. So on the select fields part, like we've already said in other live streams, you have to select the information that you want on the cover of the card. So if we remove these ones, you can see that it's going to remove information from the cover of the card, front-facing part of the card. And what we want here, maybe I want categories, I want the owners, and I want the to-do bar if there is one, and I want the tasks, chat, and time in stage, for example. And I want the ticket ID. There you go. So, oh, there you go. I can sort them by some manner. It could be sorted alphabetically by order of creation, by area, and so on. So that's what we're going to do here. And I can change the color. So it's going to be white in this case. And I just want to do this. There you go. No, actually, yeah, I think this looks better. And I'm going to change the size of the card so I can see more stages here. I could add more information to the card, right? So for example, I could add description. It's just that sometimes if you have a lot of information here, you are not going to be able to see all of the text here, right? But you could do that. So I'm going to leave this here just as an example, right? So I have the stage SLA here, so it looks fine. For the creation form, I'm going to actually I'm not going to allow people to create cards through these buttons here. So I'm going to toggle this off, add card button. So now there's no way to create here. And for the update form, I'm going to use the form of the table itself. So I'm going to save. And if I open this, I can see the information here. So for reimbursement, I'm going to add John as the owner. And I'm going to add a to-do list here to see if like pay invoice has correct info, submit payment request to boss. So I'm going to mark this one just so you guys can see how it looks like. Oops. There you go. So it looks like this, right? Cool. So let's just create a title bar because we're going to use this to use our creation form and also to add a filter. So request SMB, new request. There you go. It's going to have this color of button. The form, I'm going to pull the form from the request form SMB. It's going to be right side panel. There you go. So it looks like this. So I have this request form. And also I'm going to create a custom filter. And for now, I'm going to leave this as just the flexible filter. The flexible filter, for those who don't know, is basically a on-demand filter that you create as you go, right? So it kind of looks, let's create this, and let's ping this to the title bar. There we go. So we have this part here. So we have this filter, and there we go. Cool. So two other things that I want to do, like Bruno said, we can create a new page, new blank app. There you go. And what we can do here is we're going to add a table here. I'm going to call this my requests, and this is only going to show requests that I've created, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this full screen. I'm going to remove this title here. My requests. And this is going to pull information from the requests. So what kind of information do I want here? I want the title, I want the description, I want the category, I want the attachments, and I want, for example, the chat and the stage in which that request is on, right? So what we can do here is add a filter for so we only see the cards that we created, right? So for example, created by is the logged user. So this filter is going to make it so the only cards that appear on this table are the cards that I've created. I'm the logged user, I'm the one seeing the information. If I save this, it's not going to change. Why is it not going to change? It's not going to change because I created all of these requests, right? But what I'm going to do here is so you guys can see how it works. I'm going to change this filter so it shows only the ones where I'm the owner. The owner's field has the logged user, and now you can see that only those 2 tickets I'm the owner. So if I save, there you go. It's only showing my tickets. I'm going to remove this filter and go back to created is the logged user. It's just to show you guys how it works because right now I'm the owner of, I'm the creator of all the requests, so it's not going to filter, right? And let's see here. One thing we can do as well is remove the field icons here. We can remove the grid line. And we also can make the row height larger so I can see more of the description, right? There we go. And this is going to be read-only. So I cannot change the information here. So there you go. I can only see the information. I can keep track of it, but I cannot see I cannot change it from here, right? Cool. So the last part that I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new app, and this is going to be a dashboard, right? And this is going to be a simple dashboard. We're not going to spend much time on it, but you could add more metrics here if you wanted to. It's just to show you guys. So requests, dashboard, SMB. So what I'm going to have here, I'm just going to create some pie charts just so we have the information, some indicators here, right? So I can go with tickets by category. Oops, requests. It's a pie chart. I'm going to remove the stroke. There you go. So you can see here how many tickets we have by category. I'm going to clone this block so it's a little bit quicker to set this up. And I'm going to change, instead of tickets by category, I'm going to go with tickets by stage. There you go. Oh, the other one was wrong. Sorry. I'm going to edit this one. Instead of stages, I'm going to see categories. There you go. So now we have the information here. We could add indicators. We could add more charts. We have like, I think about 10 different types of charts. We can have indicators, complex indicators, but we're going to leave it as is here because I'm just going to now pull this all together in the same app, right? So let's go back to the request SMB, and I'm going to add a top bar. And we're going to use the same settings that we used on the other ones with custom icons. We're going to add the request form. We're going to add the my requests. and we're going to add the request dashboard SMB. There you go. And now we can add some icons here as well. So this one, request form is going to be this one. My requests, it could be, let's see here. Let's let's go with this one. Where is it? That was kind of like, there you go. And for the dashboard, we're going to use this icon here. I'm going to remove the shortcuts. There you go. Cool. So now on the requests SMB process, we have the Kanban board. If you click here, we could create directly here, but we have the form. So we have the form here. We can use this form to create it. We have the requests, and we have the dashboards. And this my request is showing only the requests that I've created, right? So we have this filter as well. So now all we have to do is add this to our main app. There you go. So this is how it looks like. And if I click here, there you go. I have the process. I can click on this, see the information, see, for example, the SLA, the tasks, and so on. I have the form, I have the requests, and I have the dashboard. So we could add more stuff. We could do more fields. We could add buttons. We could do other stuff. But one more advanced thing that I want to do here is, for example, we have categories and subcategories, and we can have the owner of the category automatically based on the subcategory, right? So this is kind of similar to the recruiting form, in which depending on the here it is. Depending on the team, you have different job openings. So to do this, this is just a quick example, right? I'm going to create a new blank table. Requests, subcategories, SMB. And we're going to add the category as a single option. So we're going to have the same ones: finance, human resources. Forgot which ones we had. We have tech, and we have, forgot which one. Let's see here. No. There you go. Legal. So let's go back here and add legal. So we're going to add colors, resources, forgot which ones. There you go. So now let's add owners as well. So now we can have subcategories. For example, I can have finance, I can have reimbursements. For tech, we can have software access. And for legal, I have contract drafting, for example, or reviewing. And I can add owners here, right? So maybe for reimbursements, I'm the owner. Software access is John Smith. And For contract drafting, reviewing, it's both of us, right? So now let's go back to the request database, and we're going to add a connection here to select the subcategories. And this is going to pull from subcategories. And I'm going to add a filter here in which I can only select the subcategories in which the category matches the category that I'm selecting here on requests. So I'm just going to do this for now. Cool. So I'm going to change now the form here. And I'm going to add the category, and I'm going to add the subcategory fields as well. So I'm going to put them right next to each other. Oops. Let's do category as a standard field. There you go. So what we did now is that I can select a category, for example, legal, and now it's only going to show the contract drafting reviewing subcategory. I can go to human resources. There's no category here. I didn't create one. For finance, reimbursements, and for tech, there's software access, right? And one cool thing is that now, let's get here reimbursement. I'm going to do reimbursements as a subcategory. I can actually use the lookup field. Actually, for the users, there's not one here, but I can add an automation here so that when a record is created, I'm going to assign owners. So when a new record is created, here I'm going to update the record itself. And I'm going to add the owners of the, oops, let's save this. I need to have a subcategory here. So I can have the example, sorry, there you go. There you go. So I'm going to disable the auto categorization because now what I'm doing now is that there's not going to be an AI to auto categorize the ticket. What I want here is for people to, let's come back here. You're going to see here that people can use this form to submit a new ticket, or they can come here and use the same form. So for example, let's see, CRM access. We need to give the intern access to the CRM. Then I can select here legal tech and pull this software access option, right? So I'm going to submit this. It created here. And there you go. It assigned to John automatically because John is the owner of this subcategory of software access. So as soon as this record was created, an automation ran and assigned it to him. So we did both ways just to show you guys how it would work. Like we did before, you could have this auto categorization by AI, and you could actually have the same automation of assigning to a person specifically. I just wanted to show this other option in which instead of having the AI auto categorize it, you can have this option of selecting the category, and this is going to show only the relevant subcategories. And then because of this, you're going to have the uh, the owners assign automatically. So that's basically it. Bruno, do you have anything you want to show that you want to request here for us to change in this template?
No, that's pretty cool. Like we did a lot today. It's really useful, it's simple, and it's already integrated with the other solutions that we have built over the last weeks. So if you guys want more, maybe want a specific solution that we built for this huge small business planner that we are building here as an example for all the different areas or processes that you can manage on Jestor, please leave on the comments. And if you want to know about or watch next videos, just subscribe to the channel and we will always be here to help you build without code and using AI to make it faster. You guys.
Goodbye.